Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel, the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Ben in the chair. How are you, mate?
Not bad, man.
You good? I'm very well, mate, very well. So, what are we doing with this?
Well, essentially, I kind of want to keep it a long hairstyle.
Okay.
But I want it to be a bit less sort of tired, flat, and sort of dull.
Okay.
I do have some pictures to show the general vibe.
Yeah. Show me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always good. Yeah.
The length, I guess, can be varied. Like it's up to you, but the kind of style and the sort of free movement is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Something like this. I've got this as well. I think it's the same as the first guy.
Yeah.
And this is slightly longer, but as I said, the length is I want to keep up to you. But and also just the general vibe. But this is the kind of I guess free, not too clean essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like quite lived in, quite lightweight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
But I want to keep it. I want to let you go do what you want to do essentially.
Okay. But lengthwise, yeah. Okay, sound yeah.
And sort of style wise as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, you give me a good like kind of things to work from, like some good ideas, basically. I think your hair isn't really the same texture as any of them, so we're gonna have to try and work out something that'll work with your hair type. Okay. So I think it's very thick. It's quite coarse. Feels a little bit dry. Okay. So these are things we have to take into account. It's a little bit, as you feel, a bit oily towards the root. So it's oily at the root and dry towards the end, right? So I think shorter would be better for you, all right? Because I think the longer it gets, the drier it becomes, okay? Because this is really old if you think about it, like a year and 5 months. So how old's it been since that was the root? 2 years maybe a bit longer? Because what length was your hair before you started growing?
It was not a fade, but it was like fairly short on the sides, a bit longer at the top, probably like a scissor cut on the top and probably like a 3 on the sides.
Okay, so maybe about that long. Okay. So that could be another maybe 3 or 4 months on the end of that as well now. So that's almost 2 years old. When you think about what's happened and see like stress, pollution, things like that. That's hence why it goes dry, okay, a lot of the time. But also it can be just your hair texture as well. So I would take it a bit shorter.
Cool.
Maybe not as short as the one you showed, the blonde haired guy.
Okay.
But I definitely think you want that kind of that lived in kind of look. That's cool. I think I can see a length that'll work for you.
Awesome.
Are you happy for me to go?
I'm honestly happy to go.
All right,
yeah,
cool.
you do what you want to do.
So what I'm looking at, see this? I like that little wave in there. I think that's nice. That is what will get that lived in look. That length is even quite nice as well, to be fair. So we got it coming from the top. Everything else, some really nice sort of S-curls in there, as you see. What's happening is just because this bit's that are dry, it's just clumping together because it's just thick and big. So I think if we could take it to about that length and really try and make these the star, this kind of shape, diffuse it so it's really nice and loose. Bit of salt spray, maybe. I think it'll be much easier today, and awesome. I think I can see a good idea. I think as well. I think having height in the front would be quite nice, just a little bit. I know you got that little bit away, but I think if it was just sitting a bit higher on here, I think just for your face shape, and especially if you say you've got like a small neck, the height in the hair will work really well for you, and your hairline's solid. So take that off your face 100%. There's no point in sitting with it on your face. Right. That's all. And again, we're all wearing masks. I don't know how much long for, but
yeah.
Everything just gets covered up then. And I think expose it. You've got a good hairline, expose your hairline. We don't know how long we have these hairlines for, so make the most of them while you've got them. That's all I say. This will be fun, this one, man. I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, let me get you gowned up and we'll get you started. All right. I love doing like short clipper work and all that sort of stuff, but this is just like, for me, guys with hair like this, man, I just think it's great. I really do. I'm just so glad we've started embracing longer hair. I know it says the guy with short hair, but I love these kind of longer lengths. I think it just works great. It really does. Right, so this kind of look, that lived-in look, what we're going to do is I'm going to start by sectioning into a horseshoe on the back and sides, so a horseshoe section, because I really want to take away the top and just leave the back and sides. I really want to kind of start with getting that shape, that primary shape through the back and sides, and then we'll start to work through the top. As we work through the top, I think I'm going to work vertically through the top, because I think I want to take the top a little bit shorter to have that lived-in kind of look, a bit like similar to the pictures. A bit more movement in this, it's falling into the sides and the back. Be quite nice. I think it'd be very easy for Ben to style that way as well. Take that section from the recession point and just drop it below the crown. And the isolate the back and sides out. You can really see all that length. I still think that length just on the shoulders I think is really nice. I like the way that just curls up. Just that little length there, I think it looks nice. Maybe it will obviously seem a lot shorter because I'll level the back off as well. Alright, so the side, that length is what I'm aiming for through here. my hands and take off about that much length. There we go. Yep. And this way through, palm to palm, nice and straight out. And this is setting the length that I want. And this is going to level off through here. I'm just taking my sections, you see, fairly wide. There we go. There's my guide there. All the sand's coming off. What we're doing now is starting to get towards the back, so a lot more length will start to come off here now. As you can see, all this length here. But again, like I always say, don't worry, because we're following our guideline, and that is fine by me. And it's working. I just think for your texture, because the curl and the coarseness, if it was too short, I don't think you get that lift in. It would be a lot of effort, whereas now it's not going to be a lot of effort. There you go. Pull it right out from the guy from behind. Right out, there we go. All that length coming off there. Just shows you how unbalanced it was at the back. See? It's almost literally double the length in the back. So that can just be the fastest part when it grows, or the size needs to catch up. Right. Just the way it goes when you grow it out, you know. All that length. We're coming into the second to last section now. What we're doing now is I'm going to pick the length on the sides and use that to work all the way around, okay? So, I know it's solid for me, there we go. So I'm going to cut it down to that length there, that's the length I'm going to use, because again it's going to shrink up, okay? But I like that just off the shoulder. Now you'll really notice the difference on the back as we get to here, you ready? So we're going to work this all the way around. And even both sides, there we go. Understand? So, this is where we're going to bring up the texture, bring up the thickness. Pull this out. Slide probably for halfway, what I'm going to do for the first one. Slide across like that, just to take away the thickness. You can see it just pulls it away. And then just towards the end to really break that up. Just breaking that up a little bit, so sliding in one bit and then sliding on top of the other bit. And keep it nice and sporadic. All over. And through the back, I'm going to go quite heavy on the razor. just because it's very, very, very thick. Top layer. And some really short layers sitting through that to give that really looser finish. I mean, hats off, you've kind of survived for so long with the thickness of your hair. I mean, you must have been roasting under this.
It's not the most pleasant thing in the summer.
No, God, no. So, section just in between the centre and the round of the head. You want to do? I'm going to pick it up, work vertically. I'm going to use the length from underneath. I'm going to cut. Now the reason I'm doing that, because I want it to fall longer at the bottom, okay? So I want to have that little bit of a shorter layer sitting through, which I think will just help Ben a lot. If it was like horizontal pulled down, it'd be too heavy all over. I think just by giving them this option, it just allows them to have a little bit more movement. Again, if you just let it air dry, wax the hair dry through, I still let it work for them. There we go. Towards the back too. Just down, make sure you match it up down the bottom. And one section just off the centre. And cut some horizontal sections in there as well. Just have some shorter layers sitting through. Like so. Shorter layer sitting through there. Now, same again the other side. What else? So we got our guide. There we go. What else? There we go. Mirror on the other side. And just round a little bit there. To match. Make sure it's all sitting even. There we go. What I'm doing is just giving some shorter layers for my styling. Bit to move around, okay? That like really lived in sort of look, right? And through the back, I'm going to do some vertical sections to connect. Get that nice squareness through the back. It'll make the bottom look longer. Keep that fullness down there. Take that much off. As that falls, so it's nice and balanced. Cut the corner off. You see how much it's not going to live in now, yeah?
Really cool.
So, salt's great. I'm going to pop a diffuser on it and really show you what you can do with it, okay? Just to show you how lifting you can make it look, okay? So, high heat, low or medium speed. Bring it to the start for me. And drop this hair into the diffuser. That's dried through. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of cream in this, okay? Because there's no point in drying your hair straight like them photos because it's just not going to work. It's going to take you 20 minutes or something to straighten it off. I just think go with your hair texture. And that way it looks way better for you, okay? And all that curl. If you want to get the height in it, just switch it over. Switch it over from one side to the other and you get more height in it as well. So if it falls that way, it'll go a bit flatter. As you pull it this way, it'll have a little bit more height in the top, okay? So I'm gonna put a little bit of cream in there. Now, as it is now, that kind of dried up, but there's still a little bit of dampness in there. What I want you to do is you're gonna pull the sort of, the S-curl that we were talking about before, it's gonna pull it through. Again, I'm gonna use a little bit. And let that sit heavy in the hair to really pull out them curls. I haven't done much with it really, mate, to be fair, to make it look lived in and messy and textured and everything else. I just made it look a bit sort of bigger and wilder and a bit more kind of living. So again, this will drop, and as it drops you get a more sort of looser curl to it. But I think putting that kind of soft part in it, I think that gives it that little bit of shape to the top for you, which I think looks really nice, to be fair.
That's really cool.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Just sits really nice. So just use that, and then just, it's all water soluble, so it'll all rinse out really easily. And that will just keep it sitting nice and heavy for you. But I just think that kind of curl, I think it looks wicked, mate.
That's
I really do. You understand how many people pay to have their hair to be curled like this, mate, and you just got it naturally. I say this to everybody who's got curly hair, because everyone with curly hair doesn't realise how hard it is to have curly hair, you know what I mean? I think that looks wicked, mate.
That's really nice, thanks, man.
You're welcome, mate. It took an awful lot of day, you know. Thanks, man. That looks so cool.
Super happy.
That's just awesome. I really love that. That'll look nice when that's dropped even more. I think that will look heavier tomorrow. I really do. Because I've used the diffuser on to make it bigger.
I see.
So I think leave that tomorrow, just give it a rinse tomorrow.
Okay.
Just let it dry off, push it back and let it dry naturally. That'll look wicked.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Really.
So, just to recap, Ben came in, God, 15 months growth, no more than that, about 18 months growth?
Something like that, yeah.
About 18 months growth. And just wanted this kind of, show you a couple of pictures, like the very kind of like, just messy, longer hair. Now, a lot of them are quite medium length, but I just think for Ben's hair, it's just so thick. I don't think we'd get that broken up texture if it was like a medium, like any of them haircuts, because a lot of them haircuts are like straight hair, which you can get away with, you can blow dry and all that, but the reality is, when you've had hair that long, for that long, I don't know how you'd be able to keep up the upkeep on that, you know? So what I thought would be a good idea was to take maybe about half the length off, because Ben's hair was down to sort of the chair length, back of the chair. So we took off probably about half the length in total, and then I just shortened some layers through it, so you've got shorter layers sitting up here, but it all just blends into this really lovely like, kind of curl, I don't know, curl fest or whatever you want to call it. But it's just wicked because it's all balanced. There's loads of loose curls in there. There's loads of kind of like loose texture, which is going to be more lived in as the haircut goes on. And again, you can grow this out nicely. It's got a nice balance to it as well. But just made it so he can go, come on, from his fingers to his head, done. That's kind of it, you know, and it looks lifted. So again, didn't do too much. A lot of hair came off, but reality is, didn't do a lot more for it to make it work. Just made it more versatile for you. Made it work both ways. All right, happy man.
Love it.
Thanks, Ben. Cheers, mate.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.